The WWE entertains us year after year. With being halfway through 2021, we know that some matches have been concluded, but there are still matches that we want to see happen. Which fights were the best of 2021 so far? We wanted to know which fights were the best matches of 2021, so we decided to find out. We searched all vendors and websites and came up with the following matches. We hope you enjoy the video. These are the best WWE matches of 2021. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with the notifications turned on so you don't miss any of the new videos we post. Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns. Kevin Owens and Roman Reigns faced off at the Rumble Royal pay-per-view. This was a last man standing match for the WWE Universal Championship. On Talking Smack, Owens cautioned panelists and special counsel to Reigns, Paul Heyman, that he hadn't forgotten about the WWE Universal Championship. In fact, he clearly stated that after WrestleMania, if Reigns retained against Cesaro, Owens planned on summoning the Tribal Chief to a title fight. When I was the Universal Champion for the first time, I did not enjoy it at all, Owens admitted. I was obsessed with being the best possible champion that I could be. I didn't enjoy any of it. But this is where I've changed. When I become the Universal Champion again, I'm gonna love every second of it. Just know this, if Roman Reigns doesn't lose the title to Cesaro, and if he doesn't lose to someone else before I get to him, again, I'm going to take the title. Don't forget about me. Don't make the mistake that I'm gone because I'm not going anywhere. Roman Reigns defeated Cesaro via submission when he made Cesaro pass out with the guillotine choke. This was a slow, methodical match, similar to the one Reigns had with Daniel Bryan at Fastlane. Reigns worked on Cesaro's arm throughout the second half of the bout, and Cesaro did an excellent job at selling it. It made the final stretch so much more dramatic. Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre teamed up on Braun Strowman. The Triple Threat WWE Championship match was a clash of titans in the best way. This match had little psychology. It was just three big dudes beating the crap out of each other for 15 minutes, and it was fun the entire time. It began with Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre teaming up on Braun Strowman. Minutes in, as Lashley and McIntyre were brawling on the outside, Strowman crashed through both with a flipping senton off the apron. That was a solid indicator of how the remainder of the match would go. Later, with Braun Strowman disposed of in the ring, Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre fought up the ramp. McIntyre threw Lashley through the LED boards on the ramp, with pyrotechnics going off as Lashley crashed through. Strowman then returned, and he and McIntyre went back and forth for the duration of the match. This included Strowman powerbombing McIntyre through the announcer's table. The finish came when McIntyre clocked Strowman with a Claymore kick. Before he could take advantage, Lashley hit the ring, tossed McIntyre out, and hit a spear on Strowman for the 1-2-3. Bianca Belair retained her title by pinning Bayley. After beating Sasha Banks in the main event of Night 1 of WrestleMania 37 in an instant classic to win the SmackDown's women's title, Belair took some time to celebrate, but it wasn't long before a new challenger emerged. In the weeks following the show of shows, Bayley made it clear that she wanted a shot at the title after previously holding it for over a year straight. Bayley first won the SmackDown women's belt in May 2019 and held it for 140 days before dropping it to Charlotte Flair. The role model debuted a new attitude and won it back 5 days later, thus beginning a 380-day reign. Banks finally beat Bayley for the title at Hell in a Cell in October 2020, which marked the start of a cold stretch for the two-time SmackDown Women's Champion, two-time WWE Women's Tag Team Champion, one-time Raw Women's Champion, and one-time NXT Women's Champion. Bayley entered into a rivalry with Belair in December and January. She beat the EST the first time they faced off, but Belair subsequently defeated her rival in an obstacle course and then a singles match. The EST also eliminated Bayley for the Women's Royal Rumble match en route to winning from the number 3 spot and earning a WrestleMania title opportunity. That catapulted Belair to the top of the women's division, while Bayley tumbled down the card and didn't even have a match at the show of shows. The snub did little to change the role model's attitude, though, as she attempted to get under Belair's skin in the weeks leading up to WrestleMania Backlash, by feigning respect only to laugh in her face. There was no love lost between Belair and Bayley leading into Sunday's contest, and their history added even more intrigue and excitement to the bout. Bianca Belair retained her title by pinning Bayley with a roll-up, with extra leverage by hooking her braid around one of Bayley's legs. It was a creative finish but botched a bit as Belair fell back at 2. Still, it's fun to see WWE integrating Belair's braid into her big matches, like how she whipped Sasha Banks with it at WrestleMania. This was a long, good match and both women worked hard. Rey and Dominic Mysterio win SmackDown tag titles. This was formulaic in a bad way. The Dirty Dogs, Robert Roode and Dolph Ziggler, took out Dominic Mysterio in the kickoff show, so Rey was to allegedly take both on in a handicap match. As soon as the match began, it was obviously where it would go. Ziggler and Roode would get the advantage on Rey and beat him down until Dominic historically came to his father's aid, and that's exactly what happened. And it took forever. Ziggler, Roode, and Rey are all great, and everything they did looked good. There was a cool Fame Easer spot where Roode Rude held Mysterio up and Ziggler hit the move, and a gnarly spot where Mysterio tried a suicide slide to the outside, but Ziggler caught him with a super kick. But it was hard to be interested in because you knew little mattered until Dominic hit the ring. That said, things did indeed pick up when Dominic arrived. Ziggler and Rude got more heat on both, but then Dominic turned things around with a super kick into Ziggler. Ray was then tagged in, hit a 619 on Rude, tagged Dominic in, and then took Ziggler out on the outside. Dominic then hit a frog splash for the win. Rhea Ripley defeats Charlotte and Asuka. I was a little worried about this match. All three women are typically excellent performers, but Ripley's bout with Asuka at WrestleMania was a disappointment, and recent matches on Raw have been a bit underwhelming too, but not to worry, this was an outstanding opening match. Rhea Ripley won the triple threat match by pinning Asuka following a Riptide power slam. There actually isn't too much to say about the match. It mostly followed the triple threat formula, where 2 women in and 1 woman out. Each woman got to shine as the match progressed, getting spots where they dominated the other 2. But the action was crisp and flowed smooth, making it fun to watch from the bell. The ending sequence began when Asuka and Ripley double suplexed Charlotte. There was then a fun spot where Charlotte fought back and hit a double natural selection and then got a 2 count when she tried to pin both Asuka and Ripley at the same time. The three then had a back and forth sequence with each other that culminated with Charlotte on the outside and Asuka being pinned after the Riptide on the inside. Asuka actually shined the most during the match, which foreshadowed her demise. Sheamus and Ricochet. The kickoff saw a United States Champion Open challenge from Sheamus, which was answered by Ricochet. Sheamus won the match with a pump knee strike, but afterwards, Ricochet taunted Sheamus and they got into a brief scuffle. Sheamus overcame Ricochet without putting the title on the line. That didn't stop this defeated opponent from walking out with the Celtic Warriors hat and coat in mock defiance. Although Ricochet took the title holder to the limit in the Raw rematch 24 hours later, Sheamus emerged victorious with the Baroque kick. Bayley and Naomi. Although the women didn't make it to the main event in this year's WWE Royal Rumble pay-per-view, they did steal the show. The Battle Royal began with 2 former SmackDown Women's Champions, Bayley and Naomi. The match featured many fantastic superstars. There was more of an element of surprise because only half the entrants had declared their entry into the bout. In the men's Royal Rumble match, fans already knew most of the competitors ahead of time. In the women's Royal Rumble match, fans saw a handful of returning WWE legends, including Jillian Hall. She teamed up with Billie Kay for a fun few minutes. Hall of Famer Tori Wilson and 2-time WWE Women's Champion Victoria also competed in the Battle Royale. Walter vs. Ciampa. NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver. The best WWE match of the year wasn't on the main roster. It was on NXT TakeOver Stand and Deliver Night 1. Tommaso Ciampa challenged Walter for the latter's NXT UK Championship, and quite literally got slapped down. After a thrilling back-and-forth bout, Walter retained his title by hitting Ciampa with a chop. It sounds lame, but watch the video and you'll see. It's a testament to the adage that bigger isn't always better, as the bout was under 17 minutes long and featured no weapons or death-defying stunts. It was just damn good wrestling, and what made it so fabulous is how both played their roles so perfectly. Walter is a big bruiser, Ciampa is a scrappy and resourceful underdog. In this match at least, everything they did made sense. It was intense and looked great. For the sake of my entertainment, I hope this match gets topped this year, but I doubt it will. Are there any fights you enjoyed more? If you feel there was a better one, then feel free to leave a comment and tell us. We hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to check back for our next one. Until then, stay safe.